We have AlexCollier. Alex, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I sure am.
All right, Alex. Well, you are next up. So you have about 15 minutes or so we are excited to hear from you next. So go for it.
Well, thank you. I just want to commend all the speakers. Fantastic. Benjamin, thank you for all the work you do. Stewart, I think you nailed it to the wall. Marcia, totally enjoyed your presentation. Remarkable. Jay, I think you're awesome. And I'm looking forward to hearing all the other speakers. Many of the things that I was going to say have been touched on. So what I will do is I will just try to connect some dots and some things. There's no question that there's change coming. There's no question that the Earth's vibration and frequency is changing, as is that of our entire solar system. That is not new. Anybody paying attention knows this. Also, humanity is changing. Humanity is waking up. But there are going to be Earth changes. These things have to happen. The Earth needs to make an adjustment and needs to make a change, not only because of all the negativity she's been holding of us, from us, but, also her own stuff. And that's going to change. And if the powers that be, the dark consortium, I've always referred to them as that, continue to do their thing unabated, then we will have a scenario that Stewart has laid out for everyone in the beginning. Because these people are absolutely addicted to power and the destruction that type of power brings. They're just not us anymore. And, the Andromedans have specifically said, they're not us, and they really might need to be removed from the equation. So that will remain to be seen. As far as the sun doing its thing, as many stars are doing, yes, it is in fact happening. But the sun, all stars are dimensional, are presenting dimensional light. They send information. They present data that we consciously don't know about, but that our DNA does in fact respond to. Many people who are open will make the change, will adapt. They will be able to make adjustments to things that are coming. The problem is that most people on the planet consciously have not been aware of what's been going on. And they're going to react in fear because they don't have the data. And they're only now beginning to wake up, and it's exponentially waking up. They're exponentially, waking up as fast as they can, but they're also seeing their lives, their livelihood change just as quickly. And they're responding in fear, and they will respond in fear, which means that they probably could get very angry. They could do something really stupid, just as our government could do. Global governments could do something stupid as well. And that's because there's no vision. We are moving into an area where, we don't have anyone to say, this is what we did, this is how we got around it. We don't have those records or that knowledge because no one's still alive. We have tablets, but they don't give the whole story. And the technology that's been created, that has been reverse engineered from extraterrestrial vehicles, is not mainstream. It is not being presented to us. It is buried in black budget programs, and unless there's a dramatic shift, they will probably stay there, which is unfortunate. However, we aren't alone. And, there are tremendous changes coming. Most of you speakers, my guess is you will be more busy than you have ever been in the next year as people begin to wake up and as more and more of this data comes out. Because what we need is a vision. Many people confuse desire for vision, and it's not, that they are very, very distinct in different things. A vision is probably one of the most powerful things God has given us. Desire is simply something that you want. Vision is something of what you will have. And that's what humanity needs. There was talk of, I believe it was Stewart, he was talking about the Gulf Coast and people needing to be evac'd. God forbid that happens, but it's looking like that is something that needs to happen and will happen because they simply don't really have a solution to this. And, these people have just watched their entire life and their way of life just vanish, and now they're going to be told they have to leave and they have such and such amount of time, and, clean out your bank account and you're out of here. Well, they have nothing to move to. There's no manufacturing. There's no jobs in the United States. Many homes are foreclosed. They're empty. Nobody can do anything with them. So, there's no vision about what to do. And what's sad is that we keep looking for the politicians and the major media to come up with answers for us, and that isn't going to happen because that's not their role. We have disempowered ourselves and allowed ourselves to be disempowered, not only as a citizenry of the United States, but also as a humanity of the world. And that isn't going to change. We are a humanity of the world, and we simply need to take back our power. And another speaker before me had even said that, and that's simply what it is. We need to create our own vision, and it absolutely starts with ourselves. Okay, it's not something where we need to go to town hall meetings, etc. I mean, that will eventually come, but what needs to happen is that everyone themselves needs to get really quiet, and they really need to know who they are. And that takes very genuine introspection, and they really have to look at themselves. And they have to forgive themselves and move forward and say, okay, this is what I can do. And it doesn't matter how small the effort is, how large the effort is. It's about the conscious decision to want to create something different than what we have now. Okay, the reason this is all coming apart is because it doesn't work. It's broken, and it has been broken, and it's been, for the most part, an illusion. Okay, we haven't been really working on who we are and developing who we are as spiritual beings at all. We have been focused on the physical, and as long as you're focused on the physical, you're outside yourself, you can be controlled and you can be manipulated. And that's exactly what's happened. And the powers that be, they know us better than we know ourselves, because many of them are extraterrestrials, or have extraterrestrial ancestry, bloodlines, or they in fact are working with them. And, this is something we will get some help with, ladies and gentlemen. We will. We're not in this on ourselves, by ourselves. I mean, we have help. And, this is why there's been so much visitation. This is why there's been so many contacts. That's why there's so many UFO bases in the ocean. They know this is coming down because this program has been run before in other star galaxies. This is not new. This bunch that has been doing this has made a mess all over the place, and it ends here. So I don't know how much time I have.
Oh, you have about 7-8 minutes left.
Oh, that much? Okay.
You don't have to take it all, Alex, if you don't need it. I mean, that's up to you.
But, there are going to be great changes. I can tell you from my sources that the powers that be, the governmental people, the billionaires, the trillionaires, the quadrillionaires that own the 16 largest corporations in the world, that are all connected to black projects, many of them you've never even heard of, they are not terrified about economic collapse. They are not terrified about the dollar collapsing. They are absolutely terrified about earth changes. And they have already built compounds and life support systems because they think that that's what they're afraid of. And those changes are coming. But it isn't the end of the world. And, if I were to say anything at all, I would absolutely say, to the people of the Gulf, I know that what has happened is a travesty. But in the long run, moving away from the coastlines is, in fact, a blessing. And I'm encouraged that the earthquakes have started because, let's just get on with this, because this has to happen anyway. And it would be wonderful for people on the West Coast and the East Coasts to begin to reevaluate what is really important to them. And just look at, what is it that we've created? Where do we go from here? What are we leaving the kids, the grandchildren? What we've created has been okay, but it isn't sustainable, it isn't real, and it doesn't foster freedom at all. And ladies and gentlemen, we were meant to be free, we were meant to live free, and we were meant to teach freedom. And that I surrender the rest of my time.